They say family is who loves you, who shows up, who stands by you when the world turns cold. She did all of that and more. She held me through nightmares, clapped for me at every achievement, and called me her son. But one rainy afternoon, a truth surfaced that changed everything I believed. This is not just a story. It's a journey into the past and a revelation that tore open the fabric of my world. I don't remember the day I came into her life, but she made sure I never felt like I missed out. From the moment I could walk, I remember her voice, soft, warm, filled with laughter. Our little house was nothing fancy. A 2-bedroom place with creaky floors and a garden full of stubborn weeds. But to me, it was paradise because it was filled with love. Every birthday, she handmade my cake, vanilla sponge with pink icing, just how I liked it. When I was 6, I got lost in a mall. I remember screaming, crying, but when she found me, she didn't scold me. She dropped to her knees, held me tightly, and whispered, "I'll never let you go." I believed her with all my heart. She wasn't just my mom, she was my world. Never did I feel like I didn't belong. As I got older, I began to notice things, like how no one in our extended family ever talked about my baby years. There were no baby albums, just a single photo of me at what looked like age 1, and no stories about my birth, my first steps, my first words. But I didn't think much of it. After all, some people just aren't sentimental, right? What mattered was she loved me. She showed it every single day. Still, every now and then, a little voice in my head would whisper, "Why does no one else ever talk about your early years?" I pushed it down until the day everything came crashing down. I had just turned 17. It was a quiet Sunday morning. She made my favorite breakfast, cheese omelet, toast, and sweet tea. We were laughing about a joke from a movie we had watched the night before when we heard a knock. She looked out the window and froze. I'd never seen that look on her face before, like she had seen a ghost. She opened the door slowly. A man stood there. Tall, weathered face, sad eyes. He said nothing at first, just stared at me. Then he turned to her and handed her a plain envelope. No words, just a look between them. And then he left. I looked at her confused. "Who was that?" She shook her head. "No one, just someone from the past." But that wasn't the whole truth. Not even close. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something inside me just wouldn't settle. Around midnight, I tiptoed to the kitchen. She had left the envelope on the counter. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper, handwritten in shaky cursive. "You've kept him long enough. He has a right to know who he is, who his real mother is. I've stayed away out of respect, but I won't anymore. He deserves the truth." My world tilted. I stared at the words, reading them again and again, hoping I had misunderstood. But deep down I knew. I knew this was something big. Something life-altering. I crept back to my room, heart pounding, and waited for morning. The next morning, I handed her the letter. Her eyes welled up with tears. "I was going to tell you," she whispered. "I just didn't know how." I didn't speak. I just waited. She sat down, took my hand, and began to speak. "You weren't born to me. I found you." "Found me?" I echoed. She nodded slowly. You were barely 2 days old, left in the hallway of the hospital. I was working the night shift. I heard a cry and found you wrapped in a thin blanket, placed gently near the nurse's station. I couldn't breathe. She took me in, reported it, yes, but no one claimed you. And I couldn't let them take you away. So I applied for guardianship. I raised you, loved you, with all I had. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I never wanted to lie, but I was afraid you'd leave me one day. My heart ached. She wasn't just the woman who raised me, she was my mother. But now, I had another mother. A stranger. Out there. The man who came to the door, he was my grandfather. And through him, I met her. My biological mother. She had me when she was just 16. Terrified. Alone. Her own family had pressured her to give me up. She didn't abandon me out of hatred, she did it out of fear. When she saw me again, she broke down. I've missed you every single day. It wasn't anger I felt. It was something else. Compassion, but also distance. She may have given me life, but she hadn't lived it with me. The scraped knees, the school plays, the bedtime hugs, those belonged to the woman who raised me. For a while, I was torn between two worlds. Part of me wanted to know more. The other part clung to the only mother I had ever known. It wasn't an easy journey. There were therapy sessions, family meetings, emotional breakdowns. But through it all, she stood by me. The woman who raised me never once tried to stop me from connecting with my biological mother. She said, "You deserve to know where you came from, even if it means losing where you are." But I didn't leave, because I realized something profound. Blood may tell you where your story starts, but love decides how it's written. Years have passed. I now have two women I call mom. One gave me life, the other gave me a reason to live. And I love them both, differently, but deeply. Every year, on the anniversary of the day she found me at the hospital, we got for dinner, just the two of us. She always smiles and says, "This was the day I got lucky." But the truth is, I was the lucky one. If you've ever struggled with your identity, if you've ever felt torn between past and present, remember this: family isn't always about who gave you life. It's about who stood by you through it. It's about who never let go. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more emotional, true life stories that matter.